Hello and welcome to the session. In this session, we are going to solve a mathematical challenge. In a chessboard, two squares are missing. One, the lower left square, and one is the upper right square as shown in the figure. That leaves 62 squares on the board. You are given 31 articles. Each article is a rectangle that can cover exactly 2 squares on the chessboard. Can you place all 31 articles on the chessboard so that all 62 squares are covered? Before solving this challenge, let me give you a hint which can help you in solving this challenge. This challenge is based on squares, rectangles, and pattern of colors. For this, you must know the shape of a square and a rectangle. See these two shapes. Here, all 4 sides are equal and all angles are at 90 degrees. So, they both are squares. Now, if I join them together like this, then I have a rectangle. Thus, according to this challenge, 2 squares will together form a rectangle. Also, let us understand the term pattern. A pattern is a repetitive design. For example, see the color of balls in this figure. Here, one ball is colored orange, and other is colored blue. Alternatively. So, they are forming a pattern of orange and blue colored balls. So using these hints, try and complete the challenge. Observe the statement carefully. You may pause the video to try it yourself. Were you able to solve it? Let me help you. In this challenge, we are given a chessboard. Two squares have been removed from this chessboard. One is the upper right square and the other is the lower left square. Initially, we had 64 squares. And now, after removal of 2 squares, we are left with 62 squares. Now the challenge says that we have 31 rectangular articles that can exactly cover 2 squares on the chessboard. We have to tell whether we can place these 31 articles on the chessboard so that all 62 squares are covered. Now see, at first instance, we may see that there are 31 rectangles. Each rectangle covers 2 squares. So total squares covered will be 31 into 2, which is equal to 62. So all squares are covered. But it is not the case. We have to see the pattern formed in the chessboard. Here in the figure we see that squares on the chessboard are colored black and white alternatively. One is white and the other is black. Then again white and black. So there is a pattern formed by the black and white colors. So our first step is to count the number of black and white squares. Now we know on a chessboard there are 64 squares. Half of them are black and half of them are white. So we have 32 black squares and 32 white squares on a chessboard. Now since we have 2 squares missing from the chessboard, let us now find squares of which color have been removed. According to the pattern, this upper right square should be of black color. Also, this lower left square should also be of black color. So we observe that both missing colors are of black color. So now we have 32 white squares and only 30 black squares on the chessboard. Now our second step is to see how the rectangle can cover any 2 squares. See, if we try to place the rectangle on any 2 squares, we can either place it vertically or horizontally. If we place it vertically, then out of the 2 squares covered, one will be black and one will be white. Similarly, if we place it horizontally, then also one black and white square will be covered. It means if we have 31 rectangles covering 62 squares, we must have same number of black squares and same number of white squares. It means we must have 31 white squares and 31 black squares. But since we have removed 2 black squares, we are left with 30 black squares and 32 white squares. So, The given 31 rectangular articles cannot cover the given chessboard. Wasn't that easy? So with this, we have completed our challenge. Hope you enjoyed it.